So let's dive in. My first question for you is, where did your inspiration for Urban Priestess come from? Because there's a lot of question around it, and hopefully you can offer some or shed some light on it.
It's interesting because of all the stuff that I do, from yoga psychology, mind body psychotherapy, the chakras. I definitely get the most question around, what's this priestess workshop? What's the priestess work that you do? And basically, I did a priestess training, so technically I'm an ordained priestess, and I studied with my teacher Ariel Spilsbury. She's out of Northern California. We did a 13-moon training, so it was a year-long training, and she, the subject started for me when I read the book Mists of Avalon, which is a great epic novel about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, the hero's journey, but it's told from the point of view of the women, and it's really a myth about how the Judeo-Christian tradition in the Crusades came in, the Roman Crusades came in and swept through Western Europe, and particularly the United Kingdom and Ireland, and really pushed those matriarchal traditions and the feminine spirituality underground or into the mists, M-I-S-T-S. And so it's all about feminine spirituality and really reclaiming and bringing back these it's a mystery school, and it's about how can we as modern women and men, although the workshop is just for women right now, this one, but how can we reclaim our intuition using ritual, creating sacred space to really cultivate healing, to cultivate understanding. My teacher, Ariel, broke down feminine spirituality into 13 different archetypes. And so each moon we would study a different archetype. So, for example, the Great Mother, the Goddess of Compassion, the Priestess, the Lover, the Goddess of Love, the Muse, the Creator Destroyer, the Queen of Death, the Wise Woman, the Initiator, the Protectress. So we would study each of these different archetypes, and the idea is that based on whatever's happening for you in your own life, you can call on these different archetypes and learn how to evoke them from within, or call on, celestial beings, or however it looks and feels right for you. So, for example, if you're going through a divorce, or someone you love just passed away, or some sort of destruction in your life, you could build an altar and really study and work with, for a time, the Queen of Death. And so build an altar and study all of these different gods and goddesses from all traditions that represent death. So in Hinduism, Kali, the underworld, Demeter, in Greek mythology. And then use different, everything from different essential oils to different mantras, different mudras, to very specifically evoke within you and activate within you those qualities that are needed to meet, whatever life is calling you to rise up into. So it's a really active and practical way of working with spirituality. It's not ethereal. It's not abstract at all.
Yeah, it seems like you've really embodied these qualities and these teachings and made them very user friendly for people to practice in their daily life, which is really important.
Definitely one of my biggest intentions is to, give people practical tools so that you have a takeaway when you leave. So, I always give out, worksheets and one sheets of information. And so whether it's working with a particular mantra, how can you build a protocol and a sadhana that's really going to help you work through different issues in life, because that, it's challenging. Life is challenging, and all these practices are about how can we stay more awake, how can we stay more connected, more loving, and really use them as fertilizer for our soul.
Good stuff. Thank you. And then feeding off of that, what are some recurring themes that you see amongst the different places? Like, you travel around to these studios, you're teaching at different festivals. Do you see maybe some top 2 recurring themes that are alive in all these different communities?
Number one, I would say for women, because I do end up working with a lot of women, but 2 things. Number one would be body image, and I'm really passionate about serving women, and it's because it's something that I've struggled with for so long. I mean, I sort of struggled with those last 10 pounds, and struggled for years with being so self-critical and holding myself back professionally and you know, thinking that I had to wait until, you know, I lost 5 pounds or 10 pounds or until I got this degree or until I did that before I could, you know, I was worthy to go out and do this other thing. So I think body image is something I'm really passionate about. And this fall I'm going to be launching it might be in the new year actually, a mind, body, weight wellness program. So because I'm really passionate about helping people find their ideal weight and work with that in a really healthy way, address emotional eating, the emotional aspects of holding on to excess weight. So weight and body image is one, and the other one is really finding your voice and speaking your truth and following, you know, your own authentic path. And a lot of times that means breaking through ancestral wounds and ancestral karmas and stuff that we're holding on to, and how we hold ourselves back based on past conditioning, and what we've seen modeled for us through our parents, through our family of origin. How to break through, because the world needs your gift. You know, the world needs your genuine, authentic gift. And there's people that can hear truth only the way that you speak it based on your own sacred wound. You know, and so I'm really passionate about doing that shadow work and helping people connect to that and then be in service.
Thank you. That's powerful work that is definitely needed all over the planet. So big props.
Thank you.
Next question. Why are you so passionate about chakra theory and bringing that together with your psychotherapy practice?
The chakras for me, you know, it's interesting. It was something that never resonated for years when I started practicing yoga in 1997. You know, I would see these images of the whole emblem of, you know, the 7 chakras and the yantras, and it was so foreign. It was so out of my realm. And what do you mean you can feel your chakras spinning? Like,
right?
That is so
what is that?
out of control. So it didn't land for me for quite a while. And once I started by osmosis to really understand, and a lot of it was just my own self-study. And then when I went to graduate school, and I was in graduate school for psychology, it really made sense, like to look at the chakras as a developmental psychology, that this is the natural arc of the human life. We go through different phases of development where we're learning certain skill sets. We go through certain rites of passage. We acquire certain, you know, skills are integrated. And so, you know, it's like a child learning to crawl and then learning to walk. And so we learn how to be, you know, have a sense of safety and trust, and then we can move into autonomy and beginning to spread our wings, and then we can move into more subtle aspects of expressing our creativity. And these are very specific stages that we go through in our life that do coordinate with certain age and time frames. And if we had certain traumas or intense experiences that we, you know, that happen during those time periods or at any time in life, they can affect the health and the well-being of that whole realm, that whole chakra and everything that's governed there. So for me, the chakras are really, again, really practical. When I teach it in a very practical way. This is a mapping of how your mind and body intersect. This is where your endocrine system lays out the major glands of the endocrine system, how the different emotions are housed in our physical body, where different symbolism and myth also correlates. So it's sort of the culmination of all of these different traditions and how they come together within the context of an individual, of, you know, one Atman, one body, mind, spirit. And so it's really a launching pad for all the deeper work that I do, but I really like to teach the chakras first so that we all have that languaging and understanding, and then we can go into more of the nuance and the deeper work from there.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
It just is so rich, and so it's like a tapestry of all the different layers, and we're so excited you're going to teach these workshops.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of looking at it, tapestry. And what I love is that, you know, I'm really blessed having been a mind-body psychotherapy intern for the last several years. You know, I have a lot of case studies. I have my clients that I've worked with that I'm speaking from experience. Like, I've seen how people have worked through this, or I've seen how they, you know, were given up for adoption and how that affects them in their physical body and now in their relationships, or how their mother was a a stoner and they were disconnected, and so they never forged strong emotional attachments. And what does that look like in your yoga practice? And what does that look like in your life? Or your father abandoned your family. And so these are very real, again, it's very real practical things. When I teach the workshop, I find people often having these aha moment, light bulb moments going off, like, oh my God, I didn't even think about how that could be related to my relationship with food, or my lower back issues, or
Very cool. Thank you. How has, you're going to do the aroma yoga workshops too, or workshop. How has aromatherapy helped or supported you in your practice? Because you're really passionate about it. You published a book on it. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
The Roma yoga, it came very organically, literally. But I was teaching at the Yoga Journal Conference in New York City in 2009, and I met my co-author, Tracy Griffiths, at the time, and she had a booth there with aromatherapy and Young Living essential oils, and they were launching the program with Donna Karen and the Urban Zen Foundation, which they go in and they teach aromatherapy, Reiki, yoga, meditation, mindfulness to in palliative care, and they brought it into Beth Israel, now the UCLA Medical Center, and different universities around the country where they're teaching the nursing schools. So Tracy and I really hit it off, and I'd always kind of thought about, been interested in aromatherapy, but never really studied it. And I just got hooked that weekend. It was like, whoa, this really makes sense. And I loved the oils. I mean, I couldn't get enough of them. So over the next couple of years, Tracy and I started working together. And then eventually she approached me about co-authoring this book. So we did, and I'm really excited. And we also lensed it through the chakras again. So it's very sort of laid out, and it's spiral bound. You can use it as a yoga teacher. We have 3 class outlines that you can, just use and go and teach an aroma yoga workshop. The aromatherapy also ties back to the priestess training, which is how do you use this physical, elemental earth life experience to awaken and to heal. So it's a very tantric practice of using what is, using the elemental forces to awaken. And so when you're using the different oil, I'm looking over here because my diffuser is going with all the oils right now. And I'm like, I wish I had them here so I could show you guys. But the different oils, carry different therapeutic properties, or like different notes on a scale, or different variants on a large spectrum of energy. So based on what quality you want to activate, you go to that oil, and so there's different. One thing I love about Young Living essential oils is the emotional blends, and they have a whole emotional kit, and they have oils that are specific for forgiveness, inner child, present time, gratitude, grounding, release. I've been using that one a lot. So the oils really help. They're immediate shapeshifters, and they'll alter your mood. They really alter your state, and based on biochemistry and brain chemistry, of which I get into in the workshop. So for me, again, it's just about bringing it to life, and it's something that is really practical, that I can have a few oils that I always carry around in my bag. And so if I'm feeling ungrounded, or I'm getting nervous for a presentation, or whatever it might be, a business meeting, I'll go into the bathroom, I'll do my little application, take a cupping, which is put it in your hands, and take 3 big inhales, and really feel it shift my whole mood and my whole perception. So I love working with them and how they enhance the yoga practice.
Yeah, and they also, it reminds me just of like Ayurveda and just the practice of balance. It just goes hand in hand. So
and so when you start to drill down and understand what different plants are carrying certain properties, based on herbalism, based on Ayurveda, based on the elemental forces, fire, earth, water, air, you can really feel, like when we do the chakras, I'll have oils that we go around with that are associated with each chakra, and you can really smell the difference between, oh, this is very earthy, this is very grounded. Oh, this is very sweet, this is very light, and so it helps you connect through your whole body, and not just through the thinking mind, which is the aim,
Yeah, all the senses.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Last final question. So the world of psychology is really evolving fast and expanding. especially in the realm of yoga psychology. Can you share with us what areas excite you the most, and who are the leaders? Who are your mentors or mentor that was really passionate about this field as it continues to expand?
I love this question. Thank you so much. One of my greatest teachers, I just came from his house, is my mentor and supervisor, Dr. Ron Alexander. And you can just go to, I think it's Ronald Alexander, ronalexander.com, also zendoc.com. And he and I are starting to teach together. We're teaching at Wanderlust in Colorado together. And
awesome.
Yeah, I work in private practice with him in Santa Monica, and he is phenomenal. He's been teaching Kundalini Yoga since 1971, and he has been really influential in incorporating Buddhist and Buddhism techniques with the psychotherapy. And so one of the things that we're both really passionate about, two things really, but number one is the somatic experience, the Gestalt experience, and somatic psychology, which is yoga psychology, which is using the body to awaken. What am I feeling in my body? Where am I feeling it? How is this showing up? How am I holding trauma or my defense mechanisms in my body, and how can I unwind that? Number one, through breathing, of course. Number two, through postures and all of this, essential oils. And then the other aspect that we're really passionate about is bringing the spiritual nature and looking at things through the lens of a spiritual psychology, of a larger context of, whether it's great trauma or even, whatever. How could this happen? Why did this happen? And asking different questions, asking the question of, okay, what's the lesson here for me to learn? What is my soul contract? What is my contract with this person that they acted out in this way that now I'm carrying this karma that I really have to release or transmute? So Ron and I work together a lot on, again, really giving people practical tools and languaging and skills that they can use to create the relationships and the changes in their life that they want. I think it's really inspiring in terms of the yoga world. I've been teaching a lot on the psychodynamics of the teacher-student relationship and understanding, because it's so hard to get this information in a 200-hour teacher training. And so there's so many yoga teachers out there that are being pumped out there that don't understand the psychotherapeutic dynamic of what's happening and why your student might be getting triggered or why you might be getting triggered and how to manage that.
And I just
had this experience myself where I was teaching a group and, it really sort of blew up in my face. And I had to be able to hold my own center while staying permeable and humble and open and in a very challenging dialogue. And yet, in the same way, use it as a teaching, like, okay, what is being triggered here as a group, and why might this be happening right now? What is the lesson for all of us? Interesting that it's triggering to these people, it's not triggering to these people. What is that about? So when you can start to speak to people on that and understand, oh, if my student is getting hypercritical or defended or shutting down or leaving early, how can I help them understand what that's about and what it is that's getting charged underneath of that, or vice versa on your end? So
that's
the power
a really
dynamics,
crucial tool and just another place that can help elevate yoga teachers across in the whole world.
Right. And, what happens at this day and age is that a lot of people are coming to yoga. They think they're just coming to get a good workout or anti-aging, stay strong and flexible. And in reality, their lives start to change. And they start to get in touch with parts of themselves physically, emotionally, that have been shut down. They're beginning to wake up their prana, their shakti, and, a lot of shadow material and unresolved emotion gets stirred up. So then how do you help people navigate through that? And that's precisely why I went back and got my master's, because I realized I don't have any understanding of what's going on. And then people want to come up and talk to you for 10 minutes after class because they're thinking about breaking up with their husband. You're just sitting there like, I don't even know what to say. You know? So how can you resource them and give them some tools or direction with that?
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for answering all these questions. Ashley, if you're watching out there, everybody, Ashley's going to be in Austin at Sayom Yoga August 16th through the 18th. And like she said, yay, she'll also be at the Wanderlust Festivals with her teacher and mentor. So make sure to
come check us out. Yeah. Are you going to be in Colorado at Wanderlust?
Yes, I'll be there on the mat. I'm so excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see you then. Just a couple weeks.
Yeah, just a couple weeks away. Well, thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see, everyone. And if you have any questions, just check out my website. Email me, ashleyturner.org. Thank you so much.
Will do. Thanks.